This is a resolution test that I want to do to see if I can sneak the camera into 1080p sometimes without anybody noticing. I figured that this would also be useful for other people to see, so what I'm going to do is tell you a story, and during that story I'm going to reduce the resolution until I will also put the resolution in text on the bottom of the screen. Okay, so let's begin. I want to tell you about the first shoot that I did and a kind of tricky situation that happened on it. It wasn't my first shoot ever, but it was my first large shoot in New York City. It was in the Hamptons, and it was for a clothing company. I had been traveling right up until when I got back to New York. I had a suitcase with all my clothes in it, and they were all dirty. And I got back to New York at like 10 p.m. or something and was going to be picked up at 8 a.m. the next day. I was tired and had no time to do laundry, and I just figured that I would do it when I got to the Hamptons somehow, like in the hotel or something. I get picked up, we take a van. It took us like 6 hours to get to the hotel. Drop the suitcase in the hotel. We then have a dinner. Dinner lasts a while. It's kind of where everybody was meeting each other on the first night. So I'm back in the hotel around maybe like 10 or 11 p.m. Our call time or wheels up time when we leave the hotel the next day to go to the shoot location, it was 7 a.m. I go to the front desk, ask them if they can wash a couple things of mine. They couldn't do that. I asked, where can I do the laundry? They said nowhere at this time. Getting close to midnight, I then go to my room and am just standing there thinking, what the hell am I gonna do? This is like really my first larger shoot, and it's for a clothing company, and I can't show up to a shoot like that with like dirty, wrinkled clothes. It's just absolutely not a good look when you're working for a clothing company. So I take all my clothes and put them in the bathtub. This is my only option. I put them in the bathtub, and I remember looking at the shampoo thinking like, am I really gonna do this? So I pour the shampoo, put the water on, and am standing in the bathtub kind of like squishing around my clothes and saying out loud to myself, like, what the because of how stupid of a situation this was, how tired I was, and the fact that I needed to wake up in like 5 hours. I also had a new pair of jeans in there that kind of made everything slightly purple, and there were like purple drips all over the bathroom. Wash the clothes in the bathtub, wring them out, and then need to determine where or how I'm going to dry them. Also, this is in the middle of the summer. That will become useful to know in a moment. I prioritize the items that I want to wear on shoot day number 1, which is in 5 to 6 hours from this moment. I wring them out as best as possible, turn on the heater. It was like a wall heater unit. Turn on the heater and kind of drape a t-shirt and either a pair of pants or a pair of shorts, and just consider that that will be enough. I then hang up everything else all over the hotel room. I hang a couple things on the hangers, on edges of doors, on door handles, so all my clothes are all over the hotel. Then I realize if anything has to be dry, if there's one item that has to be dry, it's a pair of socks. I just looked at my shirt, which is also kind of wrinkly right now, which I did just grab out of a suitcase to put on for this video, which is kind of ironic. Anyways, I put the socks in the vents. I like stick the socks in the vents of the heater and decide that it is so important for me to have the socks be dry that I put the heat on in the middle of the summer as hot as it would go. I have 90 degrees in my mind. Like there was a number 90 on the heater, and I just figure I will do that for 20, 30 minutes and maybe they'll be dry, and then I'll turn it off and turn on the AC and go to bed. I then fall asleep and am kind of okay with the heat, but by the time I woke up in the morning, it was so insanely hot in the room, so miserable, and the socks are still like blowing in the heater unit. The socks are okay. The shirt is damp still, and the pants are damp, which was quite annoying. At that point, there's nothing I can do, and what really sucks is that I was like 4 to 5 minutes late to get into the van to go to the location, and all of the vans had to travel together. All eyes are on me that I'm not in the van until like 7:04 a.m., which is not a good thing to do, but I had a rough night beforehand, so I just didn't dwell on it, and it was totally fine in the end of the day. But to be having a producer call you and asking like, where are you, when every other person is waiting for you in the parking lot is quite stressful. So I have all this stress on me, and then we get to the location. We're allowed in the location at, it must have been 7:30 a.m. So we drive the 15 minutes, we get there 7:20, wait on a road outside of the street that the house is on, and then roll up through the driveway at like exactly 7:30 a.m. So me being late did not affect our start time whatsoever. Another thing that happened in this whole scenario, and that was in the back of my mind the whole time that I was dealing with this stupid laundry situation, was the fact that we were using a Ronin, the OG Ronin, with an Alexa. Actually, it was with a Red Epic and Cooke lenses, which were a little too heavy for the Ronin. Hey, buddy, sorry, you can't do that right now. Can't do this one. Also, these shorts, Madewell, I linked them in the Discord. If you're not in it, you should get in it. You got to find the link, though. I'm not posting it below. Anyways, the Ronin was not heavy duty enough, not quite heavy duty enough for the particular camera setup that we had. Buddy, please, for the love of God, please. And it was my first time using the Ronin. During the pre-production, we discussed a Steadicam. Somebody mentioned a Ronin. I said, yeah, sure, Ronin's fine, like figuring that I knew how to use one. I don't know if you remember your first time ever setting up a gimbal like that. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So, hey, can you please, for the love of God, not with me? First shot is outside by the pool. It's a guy walking down a set of steps to the pool. The camera kind of follows him down the steps and tracks and pans as he arrives at the pool. I am by the side of the pool working on this gimbal. I did not have a gimbal tech on this shoot. It was my responsibility to set up and balance the thing, which I still do shoots like this today, and I have a Movi, and that thing is tuned perfectly. But first time, hard. So I'm by the side, director sometimes coming up to me saying, when are we ready? Producer sometimes coming up to me saying, when are we ready? The first AC is helping me out. It was kind of like new technology at this point, and we had slightly too heavy of a camera for it, so we were just going through and trying to balance it, not having enough experience to know how to do it quickly, trying to sneak watching YouTube videos while setting this thing up. I don't know if you've ever had to sneak watching a YouTube video on set to try to figure out how to do something, but it's not the easiest. It's kind of hard to hide. First, you need to find the video. Then you need to guess where you think the information is. So you're tapping through, scrolling through, trying to figure it out. Very high stress situation. So this thing was taking me forever to set up. And then at one point, when we get close to it being right, I drop the bushing for the focus motor rod. It was a 15 mil rod, but the thing on the camera was a 19 mil hole. So there's a bushing just like this. $15 to $19 mil bushing. I dropped this in the pool. I'm still moist at this point, and I'm looking down in the bottom of the pool and seeing this bushing, and I'm like, there is no way that this is real. There's no way I'm getting wet and going in that pool, because I've been dealing with wet clothes for the last 9 hours. And this may be the point. Like, could I successfully walk off of this location, walk down the road, make it to town, get a ride back to New York City, change my phone number, never talk to anybody on this set ever again, and just move industries? Like, that is where my head was when I was looking at this thing in the bottom of the pool. It sucked. All while wearing wet clothes and having people come up to me every 15 minutes saying, what's the problem? When are we ready? When are we ready? It was absolutely brutal. So in the pool house, there was like a fresh badminton set, unopened. So I have experience with badminton sets my whole life, have set them up, and am good at badminton. I knew that I could make something happen to get the bushing out of the pool with the badminton set. So I open it up, put the poles together for the two poles that would hold the net. I put one of them together, get a wire hanger, tape it to the end of the thing, hook through the bushing, and get it out. At this time, Now we only had final little tweaks on the Ronin. We got the focus motor on. So now we're ready for the first shot with the model coming down the stairs and arriving at the pool. We shoot that shot, director's looking at a monitor and absolutely loves it. The whole point of all of this is that every single thing leading up to this was like a pure technical struggle or logistical struggle, from the laundry to dropping the bushing in the pool, working with damp clothing on, to not knowing how to set up the Ronin, to having a camera that was too heavy, and then having the first shot look good and everybody wanting to shoot everything else on it. Everything was a struggle. And also me in the morning of day one, literally wanting to run away and move careers. But the magical part about all of this is that some of those shots from that shoot are still in my reel to this day, and the footage does look nice. So it ain't always easy. You just gotta push through the battles. I also just think it's hilarious that this shirt is dirty and wrinkled for this whole story. Anyways, there are moments in life that are similar to this where things are stacked up against you and you feel like you can't do it. If you do just keep going, the results oftentimes are good, whether it's on a video shoot or a photo shoot or in any other job that you're doing. Sometimes things are stacked against you for a long time. Sometimes they're stacked against you for 12 hours. But if you just keep in mind that one thing at a time you just handle, and that things won't always be perfectly comfortable, you can just push through it and go to where you want to go and achieve what you want to achieve. Okay, that's all. Peace. Oh, also, one more lesson. Be careful with the bushings.